Never did I imagine that an ancient wooden chest, gathering dust in our garage's darkest corner, would systematically tear my world to shreds. I'm Nathan Caldwell, pushing 40, making my living as a financial analyst, dissecting numbers at an insurance company near Denver, Colorado. My better half, Marissa Hensley, 37, works as an HR professional at a nearby logistics firm. We're blessed with two wonderful kids, our baseball-crazy 11-year-old son Jackson, and our spirited 7-year-old daughter Piper, who dreams of living in her ballet outfit permanently. Our home is a charming ranch-style house, complete with a sprawling backyard and an old-fashioned porch swing that creaks with every gentle motion. Parked in our driveway is our trusty Ford Explorer, faithfully serving our daily school runs and weekend shopping expeditions. We were living what seemed like a picture-perfect suburban life. Safe. Routine. At least, that's what I believed. Our story began 13 years ago at a career fair in Boulder. Marissa captivated me instantly with her magnetic personality and quick humor, her chestnut hair casually tied back, wearing a smile that could illuminate the darkest spaces. I knew then, not in some dramatic movie moment, but with a deep, instinctive certainty that she was meant to be in my life. Today, she still radiates that energy, keeping fit with regular yoga, sporting a chic bob cut, masterfully balancing career and family life. Me? I'm the predictable one, content with my Excel sheets, weekend barbecues, and the comfort of routine. We were supposed to be unshakable. At least, that's what I thought. But then came that fateful Saturday afternoon. Imagine this. I'm wading through the garage clutter, organizing items for the neighborhood yard sale. Amidst the typical suburban debris, worn-out camping equipment, a defunct lawnmower, something catches my eye. There, concealed behind a tower of Marissa's university textbooks, sits a modest wooden container, roughly the size of a shoebox. Its surface bears the marks of time, secured by an oxidized latch, and blanketed in dust that speaks of years of neglect. Intrigued, I lift it, immediately struck by its peculiar heft, not just its physical weight, but something more profound, as if it harbors an untold story. I call for Marissa, assuming it's just some forgotten memento. She enters the garage, casually drying her hands on a kitchen towel, her demeanor shifting dramatically when she spots the box in my grasp. The color drains from her face completely. Not just pale, stark white, like she's confronting something otherworldly. She grabs it from my hands, her voice trembling as she mutters something about old college memorabilia. But her eyes tell a different story. They're wild, frightened, like cornered prey. She clutches the box protectively and rushes inside, leaving me alone with dusty hands and an unsettling sensation creeping along my spine. Before we delve deeper into this unsettling tale, let me take a moment. Where are you tuning in from today? Share your location in the comments below. If this opening has piqued your interest, don't forget to subscribe for updates. Because this box, it wasn't merely an old keepsake. It was a dormant explosive, and I was unwittingly about to ignite it. The incident haunted me. That expression she wore wasn't simple reminiscence. It was terror, pure, unfiltered terror. The way she protected that box, as if it contained secrets worth dying for. I've shared my life with Marissa for more than 10 years. I've witnessed her anger, her sadness, her work-related stress. But this reaction, this was unprecedented, and it struck me with crushing clarity. There's a dimension to my wife I'm completely unfamiliar with. Perhaps I've never known. Standing in our garage, surrounded by the ordinary sounds of suburban life, children's laughter echoing down the street, the distant whir of a lawnmower, I felt it. This consuming unease. What secrets did that box hold? Why did she fabricate a story? And why did I suddenly feel like an outsider in my own home? I tried to dismiss it, convince myself I was reading too much into things. Perhaps it contained nothing more than embarrassing teenage love notes, the kind she'd rather not have me tease her about. But that night, Lying beside her, listening to her rhythmic breathing, sleep eluded me completely. Her trembling hands and quavering voice kept replaying in my mind. And then other details began surfacing, like tiny shards of glass catching light. The subtle changes in her behavior lately, the growing emotional distance, those mysterious Wednesday evening work meetings she claimed ran late, the unfamiliar cologne scent that clung to her clothes when she returned home, definitely not mine, definitely not hers. I'd rationalized it all away, attributing it to work pressure or my overactive imagination. But now, with that mysterious box in the equation, these small fractures in our seemingly perfect life were rapidly expanding into chasms. I knew I had to uncover whatever she was concealing, regardless of the potential consequences. That wooden box became an obsession, like a persistent splinter I couldn't extract. After Marissa's hasty retreat into the house with it, I attempted to push it from my thoughts. Try to convince myself it was insignificant. But her physical reaction, those trembling hands, that broken voice dismissing it as college memorabilia, kept eating away at me. I'm Nathan Caldwell, a man who thrives on mathematical certainty and logical reasoning, not wild speculation. Yet there I stood in our garage, surrounded by yard sale preparations, feeling as though I'd stumbled upon something sinister, something deliberately hidden from my view. The following days found me observing her with unprecedented scrutiny. Marissa maintained her usual routine flawlessly. She'd prepare Sunday morning pancakes for Jackson and Piper, her laughter resonating through the kitchen as our daughter pleaded for extra syrup. Her goodbye kisses before work remained soft and familiar. But now, every action seemed choreographed, as if she were performing the role of the perfect wife while concealing an unknown script. Then Monday arrived, bringing something unusual. She returned from work carrying her laptop bag, a sleek black accessory typically left at the office. She placed it on the kitchen counter, poured herself wine, and began typing. I casually inquired about her work. Without looking up, she replied, "Just some urgent HR documentation," and continued typing. But I noticed her fingers pause momentarily, betraying a hint of discomfort. Sleep evaded me that night, my thoughts churning like a restless tide. I lay motionless, watching the ceiling fan's hypnotic rotation, my mind refusing to quiet down. The laptop's sudden appearance at home nagged at me. It was an unprecedented change in her routine. Those Wednesday evening meetings she'd been mentioning for weeks, supposedly for a major recruitment drive at her workplace, had coincided with another peculiar detail I'd noticed: a subtle masculine fragrance on her coat. Not her signature citrus perfume, but something distinctly woodsy. I'd previously dismissed it as a casual transfer from a packed elevator or an innocent colleague's embrace. But now, that scent haunted me like an accusatory whisper. The weight of these thoughts became unbearable, demanding release. So the following evening, I sought out Derek Vaughn, my closest confidant since our University of Colorado years. At 40, he shared my profession in numbers, though he specialized in internal audits. His own marriage had crumbled 2 years ago when his wife eloped with her fitness instructor. If anyone could detect warning signs, it would be him. We settled into a booth at Rusty's Tap, a weathered bar on the town's outskirts, where neon beer advertisements cast their artificial glow through grimy windows and floors retained their perpetual stickiness. Over craft beers, I unburdened myself, detailing everything: the mysterious box, Marissa's uncharacteristic reaction, the laptop's appearance, the lingering cologne. Derek listened intently, slowly rotating his glass, his expression growing increasingly tense. After absorbing it all, he fixed me with a grave stare. "Watch her carefully, Nate," he advised, his tone hushed but urgent. I recognized these patterns: the extended hours, the strange atmosphere. That box. It's definitely concerning. Could be insignificant, could be crucial. But don't ignore these signs. I acknowledged his warning, my insides nodding painfully. Derek understood betrayal intimately. His ex-wife had depleted their joint accounts before he'd sensed any danger. Was I destined for a similar fate? Wednesday arrived, and Marissa delivered her now familiar line as she prepared to leave after dinner. Got a late meeting, don't wait up. She collected her laptop bag and that mysterious box, which she concealed in the hall closet following the garage confrontation. She mentioned dropping it at her sister's place in Boulder, claiming it was part of decluttering. I forced a smile, wished her safe travels, but the moment her car vanished into the darkness, unease crept in. The timing of her taking the box now, after keeping it hidden for an indeterminate period, struck me as suspicious. Too calculated. I restlessly paced our living room, while Jackson and Piper remained absorbed in their animated show, unaware of the turmoil consuming my thoughts. Then I recalled the family locator app installed on my phone. We'd initially set it up to monitor the children during shopping trips or park visits. Marissa's phone was connected too. I launched the app, hesitating briefly over her profile. Was I crossing a line by tracking my wife? But that seed of suspicion had taken root, and I pressed forward. The map materialized, displaying a pulsing blue indicator. She wasn't at her downtown office. The Boulder route remained empty. Instead, that remained stationary, fixed to a location 20 miles northward in an affluent district known for its modern condominiums and premium coffee establishments. My heart rate accelerated. I magnified the view, observing the unwavering no movement, no meeting, just her vehicle, stationed at an unfamiliar address. I retrieved my keys, instructed Jackson to watch over Piper, and announced a quick errand. Though uncertain of what awaited me, I needed answers. As I reversed out of our driveway, the evening breeze streaming through my lowered window, a single question echoed relentlessly. What purpose did that box serve, and with whom was Marissa sharing its contents? The asphalt stretched endlessly beneath my headlights as I accelerated northward, the family locator app illuminating my passenger seat like a guiding light into uncertainty. I'm Nathan Caldwell, and mere minutes ago, I'd left my children engrossed in television, pursuing a digital marker that revealed my wife Marissa's deception about her whereabouts. That indicator wasn't showing her office location or her sister's Boulder residence. Instead, it pinpointed an upscale Denver neighborhood I'd never explored, and each passing mile intensified my growing anxiety. The box she'd transported tonight, the same one she'd hastily reclaimed days earlier, weighed heavily on my consciousness. Was it currently in her possession? Could it hold the answers to her secretive behavior? I arrived at the address, a sophisticated complex of condominiums featuring expansive glass windows and meticulously trimmed shrubbery bordering the property. Positioning my Ford Explorer across the street, I cut the engine and settled in, my vehicle melding with the shadows of the quiet Wednesday evening. The tracking app confirmed her phone's location, motionless. Scanning the parked vehicles, I finally located it. Her silver Honda CR-V, positioned near the entrance of a three-story structure. A momentary wave of relief washed over me at the sight of something recognizable, until my eyes landed on the adjacent vehicle. A pristine black Tesla, gleaming under the streetlights, without a single imperfection. This wasn't typical of her logistics company colleagues. This spoke of wealth. My fingers clenched the steering wheel until they blanched, fighting the impulse to march over and demand answers. But I needed concrete evidence, not confrontation. Suddenly, the condo entrance opened, revealing Marissa. She emerged with her laptop bag draped across her shoulder, the wooden box conspicuously absent. Her demeanor was unnaturally composed, her hair shimmering under the artificial lighting. Behind her followed a man, tall, appearing to be in his mid-30s, sporting slick-back dark hair and wearing an expensive jacket that exuded self-assurance. They lingered by the Tesla, and I strained forward, peering through the darkness. He spoke, She responded with laughter. Then he embraced her briefly. Not a professional farewell, not a friendly goodbye. An intimate embrace that lasted too long, his hand placed inappropriately low. My chest constricted with fury and something more piercing, more glacial. She disengaged, entered her Honda, and departed. He observed her leave before sliding into his Tesla and accelerating away in the opposite direction. I remained stationary, engine silent, darkness encroaching, realizing I'd witnessed my wife transition from a stranger's world back into mine as if nothing were amiss. I couldn't leave it unresolved. I recorded the Tesla's license plate, my trembling hands barely managing the task. Later at home, after checking on Jackson and Piper sleeping on the couch, I accessed my laptop. A search through my work's public records database yielded results. Tristan Morrow, 35, independent PR consultant, Denver resident for 6 months. Single after divorce, childless, sole occupant of that condo. His LinkedIn profile appeared next, featuring professional portraits and industry jargon about strategic branding and client engagement. This wasn't some casual encounter. This man had established roots, a profession, purpose, which begged the question, why was my wife visiting him with that mysterious box? Thursday morning, I maintained my composure. Marissa stood in the kitchen, preparing the children's lunches while softly humming an unfamiliar melody. I inquired about her meeting with practiced nonchalance, carefully controlling my voice. She remained unruffled, dismissing it as mundane HR business, and passed me a coffee as if it were any ordinary morning. But now I noticed the subtle signs, the way she avoided direct eye contact, her smile that seemed forced and superficial. Later that night, when she retired early citing a migraine, I retrieved her laptop from the kitchen counter. She'd grown careless, leaving it unlocked. My pulse quickened as I navigated through her email, bypassing work-related threads until I discovered a folder marked miscellaneous. Hidden within were exchanges from an unknown address, signed simply with T. Brief, enigmatic messages. Asterisk, anticipating our next encounter. Asterisk, remember Wednesday's delivery. Asterisk, you remain my most cherished secret. My mouth turned desert dry. I opened the final message, sent the previous morning. It stated, that box serves as our personal time capsule. Guard it carefully. I closed the laptop abruptly, thoughts whirling. Time capsule? What could that possibly imply? Friday brought another surveillance mission. Avoiding the app this time, too dangerous if she checked. I called in sick, delivered the kids to school, and shadowed her from her workplace. She bypassed Tristan's residence, instead steering toward a storage facility along the interstate, one of those distinctive orange-roofed complexes lined with metal storage units. I stationed my vehicle a street away, observing as she entered a security code and vanished inside, box tucked under her arm. She emerged 10 minutes later empty-handed, surveyed her surroundings anxiously as if sensing observation, then departed. After confirming her absence, I approached the entrance. The keypad confronted me, an encrypted barrier. Whatever she'd concealed within, she wanted it neither at home nor with Tristan. This transcended a simple affair. This was a deeply rooted secret, and I stood on the verge of uncovering it. The storage unit haunted my thoughts throughout the weekend, its locked entrance a persistent image in my mind. I'm Nathan Caldwell, and by Friday evening, I'd witnessed Marissa conceal that wooden box in a location she believed would remain undiscovered. The mysterious messages from T, her embrace with Tristan Morrow outside his residence. Everything suggested a reality I wasn't prepared to confront. Yet inaction was no longer an option. I needed to uncover the truth, and that box held the answers. Saturday morning, while Marissa accompanied Piper to her ballet lessons and Jackson immersed himself in his gaming world, I reached out to Derek Vaughn. He's my anchor, someone who'd weathered his own storms and emerged more resilient. I shared everything, the storage facility, the emails, the whole situation. His voice came through the phone, unwavering yet somber. We're going to open that box, Nate. Get to my place in 60 minutes. Bring whatever tools you have. Derek's garage was a mechanic's paradise, filled with wrenches and power tools from his automotive restoration passion. He passed me a flathead, screwdriver, and heavy-duty bolt cutters, his expression mixing determination with subtle excitement. We headed to the storage facility in his weathered Jeep, the distinctive orange rooftops standing like sentinels beneath the noon sun. I'd committed the gate code to memory after observing Marissa the previous day, 7-3-9-1. It granted us access. The barrier lifted, and we drove in, stopping near her unit, 14B. The padlock securing the door was basic, showing signs of rust. Derek efficiently broke it with the cutters, the metallic crack resonating through the deserted complex. I raised the rolling door, and there it sat, isolated on the bare concrete surface. That mysterious wooden box, its metal clasp gleaming like a silent challenge. My trembling hands worked the screwdriver against the lid, causing splinters to break free from the aged wood. Derek maintained his vigilant position, periodically scanning our surroundings for any unexpected visitors. The clasp finally surrendered with a sharp click, and I lifted the lid. The interior was immaculately preserved, free from dust or spider webs, containing an organized collection of hidden memories. A collection of personal letters bound together by a weathered crimson ribbon. A set of 12 Polaroid photographs, their corners warped by time. A delicate silver chain bearing a heart-shaped pendant, reminiscent of those sold in shopping mall jewelry stands. I carefully untied the bundle of letters, my heart racing as I read the topmost one. It was dated a decade ago, from when Marissa attended a business conference in Seattle. The masculine script was precise and controlled. Miss you already, Em. That night was worth every risk. Can't wait till next time. The signature read simply T. My heart plummeted. 10 years. This wasn't recent. This was ancient history resurfacing uninvited. The photographs proved even more devastating. They captured a younger Marissa, radiating joy in a dimly illuminated bar, embracing a dark-haired man with an arrogant smile. Undoubtedly Tristan, before his polished public relations persona. Another image showed them at a pier, Seattle skyline shrouded in mist, her head resting intimately on his shoulder. The final photograph delivered the most crushing blow, the two of them entangled in hotel bed sheets, her eyes half-lidded, his palm tenderly cradling her cheek. I released the photos, my vision growing cloudy. Derek retrieved one, exhaling softly. Jesus, Nate. This is an entire secret life. I grasped the necklace last, examining the heart's reverse side. The engraving read, T and M, forever. Forever. While I devoted myself to building our shared life, she had crafted this parallel existence with him. I couldn't delay confrontation any longer. That evening, after tucking the children into bed, I arranged the box's contents across our kitchen table like courtroom exhibits. Marissa entered from the living room, appearing deceptively ordinary in her yoga attire, as if she still belonged solely to me. Then she noticed it. Her expression froze, eyes expanding in shock, mouth opening soundlessly. I didn't allow her to speak. I slammed the letters down, my voice trembling yet forceful. Explain this, Marissa. Explain 10 years of lies. Explain Tristan. She recoiled, clutching the counter for support. Nathan, it's not what you think. I released a harsh, bitter laugh, scattering the Polaroids at her feet. Not what I think. You've been sleeping with this guy since Seattle, and I've been too blind to see it. She collapsed into a chair, tears cascading down her cheeks as the confession spilled forth. Her first encounter with Tristan occurred at the conference, a brief liaison that extended into a weekend-long affair. She returned home, consumed by guilt, promising herself it was finished. Then, half a year ago, he'd managed to locate her, having relocated to Denver claiming to seek a fresh beginning after his divorce. A chance meeting at a local coffee shop reignited their connection. The box represented her secret treasure, a foolish memento she couldn't bring herself to discard. She insisted it was merely a casual affair now, emphasizing her love for me and our family. She didn't want to abandon what we had. I gazed at her, this woman I'd entrusted with my entire being, feeling nothing but an emptiness echoing within. "You love me?" I questioned, my voice breaking. "Then why does he possess a part of you I never knew existed?" She reached out desperately, weeping, but I retreated, seized the box, and violently hurled it against the floor. The wood fractured, the necklace sliding across the tiles as she released an anguished cry that pierced through me but couldn't halt my actions. I was through. The destroyed remnants of the wooden box lay dispersed across our kitchen floor, a broken mosaic of splinters and buried truths. I'm Nathan Caldwell, and yesterday evening, I confronted Marissa with 10 years of deception laid bare between us. Her tears and desperate pleas couldn't repair the devastating void she'd created in our existence. I spent the night on the couch, though sleep eluded me as I stared endlessly at the ceiling until dawn. By morning, my pain had crystallized into something different, a frigid, searing desire to make her experience the full magnitude of her betrayal. Not just her, Tristamoro too. That arrogant PR executive who had slithered back into her life deserved retribution. I refused to let this pass quietly. Sunday, while Marissa took our children to visit her parents, I contacted Derek Vaughn. He arrived at my residence bearing a six-pack of Coors and a strategy. We settled on the back porch, the late autumn cold seeping through my jacket, and detailed our approach. Derek's divorce had taught him valuable lessons about inflicting precise damage. He leaned closer, speaking softly. "Physical confrontation isn't necessary, Nate. You need leverage. Target what matters most to them. For Marissa, it's her carefully crafted image. For Tristan, his professional reputation." I nodded, opening a beer I wouldn't drink. I'd secretly recorded her entire confession the previous night, capturing every sob-filled admission on my phone. That was my ammunition. Derek smiled, retrieving his laptop. Let's put it to use. First up was Tristan. His LinkedIn profile boasted about a lucrative contract he was pursuing with a network of family-operated hardware stores, their brand built on traditional values and trust. I accessed my work email, retrieved a dormant account from a previous project, and composed a message. I included the audio recording of Marissa's confession, her voice trembling as she spoke his name. Added a blurry photograph I'd captured of their embrace outside his residence, complete with timestamp. The message was concise. Your potential client might be interested in knowing the character of the person handling their public image. Sent it to the company's public relations director, with Tristan blind copied to ensure he'd witnessed the impending chaos. Derek observed as I clicked send, satisfaction gleaming in his eyes. "That's going to leave a mark," he remarked. Indeed it did. Come Monday, an industry contact informed me that Tristan's deal had evaporated, the client unsettled by hints of impropriety. His meticulously maintained reputation was now in shambles. Amanda was next. In our subdivision, there's this community bulletin board near the mailboxes, a court panel where residents post notices about missing pets and charity events. I made multiple copies of that Polaroid from the shoebox, showing her and Marcus intertwined in that Portland hotel room. I obscured her features just enough to avoid legal trouble, but anyone familiar with her silhouette, her distinctive hair, would recognize her instantly. I wrote in thick black marker, "Ask Amanda Reynolds about her Thursday evenings." James drove me there at sunset, the street lamps sputtering to life as I tacked them up, my fingers unwavering despite my racing pulse. A resident, elderly Mrs. Thompson, ambled past with her poodle, peering at the board. She clutched her pearls, gasping, and I knew the rumors would spread rapidly. By daybreak, Amanda's phone was flooded with messages from her spin class friends, her wine club, all the school board moms who'd made her their social queen. She'd crafted her reputation as the perfect spouse, the ultimate mother. Now that facade was crumbling. Thursday evening, she returned from the office, eyes puffy, expression strained. She discovered the board, heard the murmurs. She lingered in the entryway, gripping her purse like armor. "Michael, how could you?" she murmured, voice cracking. This wasn't necessary. I stared at her, the woman I'd cherished for 15 years, and felt only coldness. "You didn't need to deceive me for 8, I replied. You didn't need to slip away with him. This is the price of treachery." She recoiled, then retreated upstairs, our master bedroom, door banging shut behind her. I remained downstairs, unmoved. But then came the development I never anticipated. Wednesday brought an unexpected call from an unknown number. The voice was masculine, polished yet tinged with urgency. "Tristan." He cut straight to the chase. "You're the husband, aren't you? Listen, whatever you think you understand, you're missing the bigger picture. Meet me tomorrow at noon at the diner along Route 36. Come alone." I nearly disconnected, but something in his voice made me pause. Yes, there was desperation, but also an undercurrent of certainty, as if he possessed information I didn't. What bigger picture could there be? He'd shared intimate moments with my wife, his presence etched into her history. What more remained hidden? I accepted, my thoughts churning. Could this be deception? A setup? Or did that shoebox contain deeper secrets than I discovered? Throughout the night, I paced restlessly, barely registering Jackson and Piper's cheerful banter from the television against the turmoil in my mind. Vengeance had tasted sweet and pure, but now uncertainty crept in. Had I merely glimpsed the surface? Tristan's words echoed through my sleepless night, that nervous edge repeating like a broken vinyl. "I'm Nathan Caldwell, and just yesterday, I'd shattered Marissa's carefully constructed world with calculated precision. My actions, the neighborhood board incident, the message to Tristan's client, had felt like triumph. But his call, that mysterious hint at something more, left me questioning everything. At noon, I pulled into the diner off Route 36, a worn establishment with weathered Formica tables and the constant murmur of truck drivers sharing tales. Tristan sat waiting in a corner booth, his usual pristine suit replaced by a wrinkled hoodie. He appeared diminished, worn, unlike the polished PR executive I'd imagined. Taking my seat opposite him, I set my jaw firmly. 5 minutes, I stated. "Explain." He wasted no time. Leaning forward with his hands interlocked on the table, he spoke in hushed tones. "You believe you've uncovered everything, don't you? The shoebox, the affair. But that's barely scratching the surface." I remained silent, observing. Reaching into his pocket, he extracted a creased document and slid it across the table. It was a bank statement from 3 years prior, showing a substantial withdrawal of $10,000 from a joint account I instantly recognized as belonging to Marissa and me. My heart rate accelerated. What exactly is this? I questioned, though the realization was already settling in my gut. Tristan's gaze hardened as he met my eyes. She never mentioned the loan, did she? Back in Seattle, I was drowning, gambling debts, failed investments. She stepped in to save me, claimed she was partly responsible. I didn't probe deeper then. I turned the paper over, discovering her signature on a transfer authorization. $10,000. Secretly drained from our savings while I struggled with mortgage payments and our son's orthodontic expenses. Another deception to add to her growing list. I thrust the document back, my voice rough with anger. Why reveal this now? His laugh was tinged with bitterness. "Because you destroyed my contract. I'm financially ruined, and she's refusing to help. Thought you should know the complete truth. She's not just unfaithful, Nathan. She's a criminal." I reclined. The bustling diner sounds fading into background noise. The shoebox wasn't merely evidence of an affair. It was concealing her secret financial dealings. I departed wordlessly, the statement weighing heavily in my pocket. That evening, I contacted an attorney, a no-nonsense woman named Carla, who explained it clearly. While Colorado's no-fault divorce laws meant the affair couldn't be used against Marissa, the financial fraud was different. We filed proceedings the following day, seeking full custody of Jackson and Piper, ownership of the house, and restitution for the misappropriated funds. 3 months passed, and the legal battle concluded. I retained the house, but the victory felt empty and meaningless. Marissa relocated to Boulder, moving in with her sister and working remotely at half her previous salary after her company marginalized her. The neighborhood gossip had decimated her reputation. She couldn't attend school functions without drawing uncomfortable stares. Tristan disappeared entirely, reportedly staying with a relative in Las Vegas, pursuing his next scheme. As for me, I didn't emerge unscathed. The constant stress and sleepless nights spent orchestrating my response took their toll. My supervisor summoned me one morning to discuss my declining performance and wavering focus. They terminated my employment with a severance package and a cordial farewell. I eventually secured a position at a smaller company, accepting lower compensation and demanding hours, but maintains our standard of living. Jackson's grown more withdrawn, spending countless hours gaming in his room. Piper occasionally weeps for her mother at night, while I awkwardly attempt to fill the maternal void through bedtime stories. Professional counseling helps, but recovery remains a gradual process. The ramifications extended further. During our financial investigation with Carla, we uncovered additional deceptions. Marissa had been secretly transferring money to Tristan throughout the years, disguising small amounts as everyday expenses like groceries or vehicle maintenance. The total reached $20,000, siphoned from our family's resources while I naively hosted backyard barbecues. She'd wagered our family's security on a remnant of her past, and the collapse affected everyone. The children lost their mother's everyday presence, while I lost my career, my ability to trust, and half my life savings. Marissa sacrificed her reputation, professional standing, and whatever illusion she shared with Tristan. The deception didn't merely break our family. It completely upended our existence, leaving us to sort through the aftermath. In retrospect, everything appears clearer. Deception doesn't simply conceal truth. It corrupts everything it contacts. Marissa's betrayal transcended a single incident or relationship. It was an insidious force, gradually poisoning our years together, and I remained oblivious. The harsh lesson learned? Truth inflicts acute pain, but it's a clean wound. Lies fester indefinitely, and their eventual exposure claims more than imaginable. I'm reconstructing my life daily for Jackson, Piper, and myself. It's not beautiful, but it's authentic, and that suffices. The story concludes here. Was it ending what you expected, or did it surprise you? Share your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this narrative, please like and subscribe for future stories. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.